Leviticus chapter 16. The Lord spoke to Moses after the death of the two sons of Aaron, who died when they approached the presence of the Lord with profane fire. The Lord said to Moses, "Command your brother Aaron not to enter at any time he pleases the holy place beyond the veil, before the mercy seat which is on the ark, lest he die, for I appear in the cloud over the mercy seat." This is how Aaron will enter the holy place, with a bull for a sacrifice for sin, and a ram for a burnt offering. He is to put on the sacred linen tunic and linen breeches next to his body. He is to have the linen girdle around him and wear the linen turban. These are sacred garments, so he must bathe in water before he puts them on. The community of the people of Israel has to give him 2 male goats for a sacrifice for sin and 1 ram for a burnt offering. Then Aaron shall offer the bull for a sacrifice for sin, to make atonement for himself and for his household. He shall take the 2 male goats and present them to the Lord at the entrance to the tent of meeting. He is to cast lots for the 2 goats, 1 lot for the Lord and 1 lot for Azazel. Aaron shall offer the goat on which the lot fell to the Lord as a sacrifice for sin, but the goat on which the lot fell for Azazel will be placed alive before the Lord to make atonement by being sent into the wilderness for Azazel. Aaron will offer the bull as a sacrifice for sin, to make atonement for himself and his household, and he shall slaughter the bull as a sacrifice for sin for himself. Then he shall take a censer full of coals from the fire above the altar before the Lord, and 2 handfuls of powdered fragrant incense, and take them inside the veil. He shall put the incense on the fire before the Lord, and the cloud of incense will envelop the mercy seat that is on the testimony, so that he may not die. He will take some of the blood of the bull and sprinkle it with his finger on the eastern part of the mercy seat. Then he shall sprinkle some of the blood with his finger 7 times in front of the mercy seat. Then he shall slay the goat as a sacrifice for the sin of the people, and take its blood inside the veil, and do with its blood what he did with the blood of the bull. He shall sprinkle it on the mercy seat and in front of it. In this way he shall make atonement for the holy place because of the uncleanness of the people of Israel, and because of all their acts of rebellion and sins. And he shall do the same for the tent of meeting, which stands among them in the midst of all their uncleanness. No one shall remain in the tent of meeting from the time Aaron goes to make atonement in the holy place until he comes out. After he has made atonement for himself, for his household, and for the whole congregation of Israel, he shall go out to the altar which is before the Lord, and make atonement for it. Then he shall take some of the bull's blood and some of the goat's blood, and apply it on the horns of the altar on all sides. He shall sprinkle the blood on it with his finger 7 times, and cleanse it and consecrate it from the uncleanness of the people of Israel. When he has finished making atonement for the holy place, for the tent of meeting, and for the altar, he shall bring forward the live goat. He shall lay his hands on the head of the goat, and confess over it all the guilt of the people of Israel, all their acts of rebellion and sins against me. So he will put them on the head of the goat, and send it away to the wilderness by the hand of a man who is waiting ready. So the goat will carry away all their guilt to a remote area when the man releases it in the desert. Then Aaron is to go into the tent of meeting and take off the linen garments he had put on before he entered the sacred place, and shall leave them there. He must bathe himself with water in a holy place and put on his clothes. After that, he will come out and offer the burnt offering for himself and the burnt offering for the people, to make atonement for himself and the people. The fat of the sacrifice for sin he shall burn on the altar. The man who releases the goat for Azazel shall wash his clothes and bathe himself with water, after which he may re-enter the camp. The bull and the goat offered as sacrifice for sin, whose blood was brought in to make atonement in the holy place, shall be brought outside the camp, and their hides, their flesh, and their intestines shall be burned in the fire. The one who burns them shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water, after which he may re-enter the camp. This shall be an irrevocable statute for you. On the 10th day of the 7th month you must humble yourselves by fasting and do no work, neither the native nor the alien living among you. For on this day atonement will be made for you to cleanse you. You shall be cleansed of your sins before the Lord. It is a Sabbath of solemn rest, when you will humble yourselves by fasting. It is an irrevocable statute. The priest who is anointed and ordained to succeed his father will make atonement. He shall put on the linen garments, the sacred garments, and will make atonement for the holy place, for the tent of meeting, and for the altar. He shall also make atonement for the priests and all the people of the congregation. This shall be for you an irrevocable statute, to make an atonement for the people of Israel once a year, because of all their sins. And Moses did as the Lord had commanded him.